welcome. Firstly, happy National Women's Day to you and all the women out there.
Thank you. How are you? Hello.
Thank you. And again, thank you for taking the time out. Thank you for agreeing to be part of this campaign. We at Varick, and we are very happy that you agreed to do this, and we're excited to know more about your journey. So let's dive right into it.
Done. Yes.
All right. So I know that you have a business background, entrepreneurial background. Tell us how that inspired or influenced your decision to start this business.
Let's rewind a little bit. So after my 12th grade, I actually started pursuing CA, and I was, as usual, 14 hours. I was in just one room
Yeah.
attending lectures,
Yeah.
and that's when I realized that I don't think so. I am interested in this because it was more of donkey's work, doing the same thing again and again, and
Right.
just mugging up things. That's when I went to my dad and I said that, see, I know you've already wasted a lot of money on this, but I really can't do this. And
Right.
I still had one more year of my bachelor's to finish. So
Okay.
he just told me that, why don't you just start working with me?
Yeah.
And he gave me three verticals that I could look forward to. One was HR, one
Right.
was admin and marketing related stuff, and one was QA. So
Okay.
QA was, I did start learning that, but it was a little more technical, and
Right.
I didn't have that background. So, it
Right.
was difficult for me to do that. So I started working with the HR team and the admin team, who is that time handling their rebranding.
Okay.
So that time, my dad's company, Tech Geminis, they were getting rebranded, and their whole new website was going to come up, start their
Right.
social media and getting themselves a new name. And that
Mm-hmm.
time they were opening up an office in Canada. So that was the whole
Okay.
motive for rebranding, and then they had to market themselves.
Right.
So I got like that whole part intrigued me a lot when it came to the rebrand part, where how to come up with the name, what strategy to
Right.
go ahead with, would it actually work in abroad, what kind of social media should we do. And when I started taking more interest and I started understanding things, my uncle and my father just put me forward as the head and asked me to speak to
Right.
the agency which was working with them. And seeing that agency work, and definitely there were some ups and downs with them as well.
Of course.
When I realized that it looks simple. Obviously, there is there is a lot to deep in. There's a lot to
Right.
dug in, but it's something that maybe I can try to do. So that's when I realized that, yeah, I do want to go in the marketing field. And then I started courses on Udemy and Coursera to learn a little more on marketing and
Okay.
social media marketing and how websites work. And that's when I decided with Himanshu that,
Right.
this is not a bad idea. We can try it out. And then COVID hit us, and then that's when we actually put it forward. We had time to think
Mm-hmm.
out, make a roadmap for ourselves.
Right.
And that's when, like, the whole pilot phase started, and we got a client from the US, and
Right.
it was a 360-degree project. And that's when we
Wow.
realized that, we can do this, and
Right.
we started it.
That's amazing. Let me ask you this. You mentioned your dad and your uncle who both come from a business background. They already have their own established businesses, not just in one country, but I assume it's spread across a few countries that I know of. Has I'm sure that it must be inspiring, but I'm also sure that at some level it must be a little daunting, even to maybe think if I'm starting a business, it has to be as good as what they are doing. And I'm sure their ways of doing things and maybe a newer way of you doing what you want to do and in the way that you want to do it Has that been a challenging part, or has it always been supportive and aligned?
I mean, I don't think so. It's been challenging, or
Yeah.
it's always pricked me that um, they are, they have offices internationally also, and they have more of a reach than we do. It
Right.
never pricked me as such because at the end we're also from a service industry, and
Right.
the the competition in India is so much that I'm sure till we don't set up a good
Hmm.
number of clients over here, have a good experience over here, if we go abroad, we might just, make a fool of
Right.
ourselves. And obviously, from India, it's a great thing that Himanshu and I've tried to land clients from the US.
Right.
So that is one good thing, but everything comes, in phases. You can't just start a company and
Of
then,
course.
let's open up in the US, let's open up in Dubai or
Yeah.
something. You need to first get yourself experienced, and I would say Himanshu and I are still very young. Like, where
Of course. Yeah.
we fall in the young entrepreneurs.
Of course.
So
Yes.
we also have a lot to learn. But
Right.
yes, we do have a name that, by the end of this year, mostly we should open up a branch in the US, at least have our names over there. So it would be easier for us to, find clients and network with them.
That's amazing. Let me ask you this. Like, it's been what, about 3 years that you have started this. Um, how do you think your company has changed, or maybe your vision for the company has changed in those three years?
Um, so when we started the agency, this was back in COVID. And that time it was a little relaxed because we were still building up processes, we were still finding a team, we were still, figuring out our finances. So it was relaxed in a way where, there was no hands-on work, there was more of
Right.
research and, what kind of commercials should we go for, what
Right.
to pitch to the client. So that time it was a little relaxed, but then when things started getting like when we started hiring a team, that's when we
Right.
realized that, now we've got people working under us and we can't leave them hanging by giving them no
Right.
clients.
Of
So
course.
that's when Himanshu and I really went rigorous and started getting clients. Yes, in the start we did have the small retainer type clients because
Right.
even we were not that known. But in these 3 years, I would say we have changed drastically. One, thanks to Warwick also, because you have also helped us file all our processes and
Right.
come up with such structures that now even the employees are using them. So
Right.
when you talk about what KU was and what KU today is, today, I know that if Himanshu and I are not there, I know our employees can deal with the clients, make sure
Right.
everything is sent for approval, everything is posted, all the websites are hosted, and I know that business is still going to come in.
Right.
So, like in 3 years, I see a major difference in us. And plus, even if you talk about clients, I would say that at least in India, knowledge units does have a name now because
Right.
we have we've been having clients calling us from all over India, and these are not the small types. These are people
Right.
who are known and are big. So, as a matter of fact, I know that my team and we have
Yeah.
worked together in a way where everyone's pitching knowledge units everywhere. So,
Right.
and plus, like our social media strategy for our own Instagram also has been, we've been changing it every, I would say, quarterly,
Yeah.
and which is what is actually helping others to know what KU is, and how their designs are, what their quality is,
Right.
and what they're actually pitching to others.
That's amazing, and that's amazing to see the change that you guys made. I've been working with you for the past year or so, and
Yeah,
even in this last year, I've seen so many changes. I've also seen the way Himanshu and you have been tackling clients, the confidence that you have gotten on your team and yourself. Ki, okay, even though this is a big client, something that we have never handled, maybe of that magnitude, but we still are confident that we can do that, and I'm seeing that
yeah.
with your team as well. Now that I'm also working with them, now I'm one of your clients. I know that, so I still see that, and it's amazing that what you've done even in the last past year. So I'm looking
Yeah, I
forward
guess.
to I'm looking forward to seeing more things, hopefully with me in the picture.
Yes, definitely. I guess the confidence is coming in because the whole team is, in the same age gap, like the same age
Right,
group, which actually makes things so much easier. So,
right,
Himanshu and I have never had to act like bosses. It just,
right.
maybe sometime in a month where, things are actually very tough, and that's when we have to, deal with it. But we're all like friends, and I guess that's what is actually helping us grow, because
Right.
it's it's easy for us to vent out to them, and it's easy for them to vent out to us, and then both of us working as a team is
Yeah.
actually making KU also grow, getting more
Right.
clients, getting more experience for the employees, and even they are enjoying working over here. So they don't feel that they're
That's
still
great.
working in just a 3-year-old company. They feel that they're actually learning a lot.
I think that's the dream for any employee to have, especially in an agency culture, which I've personally seen what agency culture is in India, and then I came to KU and I saw what kind of agency culture you were trying to promote and cultivate within the company. It's amazing that just to have that thought and to implement it and to sustain it. So
Yeah,
kudos on that.
thank you.
Let's move on to the next question. I know you're pursuing masters in England, and I know it's tough to handle masters ka pressure as well as work responsibilities that you have, and to on top of that to do it remotely. How have you been juggling all these things?
So honestly, it's been very difficult because firstly, there's a 5.5 hour time zone gap.
Right,
Secondly, since it's just a 1 year master's, there are just assignments that are just coming on us, and we need to submit them within a week. And being an international student over here, this is something I have never done. Like, the
right.
whole assignment culture back in
Yeah,
India was
yeah,
just, you have to give exams. Over here, it's
yeah.
exams and assignments, and, different
Right.
types. Like, even the writing is very different.
Of
So
course,
when
yeah.
it comes to working with KU and doing my master's, I would not say it's very easy, and I would tell people that, go for it, do your
Go for
master's.
it.
You can work for it, everything is possible. Uh, that's actually like, this is harsh reality, it's not possible. Like, the only time I can actually work with KU is I can only talk to the senior team, because I know
Right,
that the senior team is available whenever, at least whenever I am awake. So
right.
I get insights of what is happening with KU, or what is
Of course.
going
Yeah.
wrong, or what are the different
Mm-hmm.
milestones that we have achieved, is what I'm checking up on. And whatever any other finance related work that's needed from me is something
Right,
that I look on. But when it comes to hands-on work, and basically what I used to do before, working with my team, working with the
right, right.
client, meeting them, that's a little difficult, because by the time I get done with my lectures, it's already everybody's bedtime.
Of course, yeah.
So the only, like, I guess right now I'm just working closely with Himanshu and the senior team by, just getting normal insights and working with them. And the second thing I'm doing over here, just, the only reasons I'm doing a master, and especially a master's in marketing, is because I personally want to learn more in the field of what I'm actually working for.
Right,
And in the future, it would help me, because there's going to be a point where I'm going to hire people older to me who are more
right.
experienced than me, and I should also have the equal amount of knowledge. and
Right.
in a way where I can help them out. So
Of course. Yeah.
my master's is a win-win for KU, but for at least this year, I am not able to do hands-on with them.
Of
But
course. Yeah.
in a way, like whenever I have my free time, I like the best place to go near by me is London. So I just go over there, try to network with some big
That's
people, try to
amazing.
arrange for meetings, and at
Right.
least just pitch knowledge units, not not
Yeah.
like ask them, do you want to become, but there should be an awareness
Of course.
that
Yeah.
there is somebody who is over here who is
Right.
handling an Indian agency, and
Right.
you know everybody knows that India, if an agency is from India, they at least give you quality work. So that's something I'm
That's great.
pitching for, and maybe we get some clients from here.
That's great. That's amazing.
Yeah.
We live in a very rapid world, especially in the digital plane. We've got Chat GPT, and then we've got Google Bard, and we have so many different things always coming up in the tech sector, especially in the digital plane and all of that. What do you think is more important for KU or as a brand? Innovation or integrity? We've had this conversation so many times, so I'd love to hear that.
I would say both of them are equally important.
Right.
Integrity, one, because no client is going to work with you if the employees or me as the owner do not build any trust or
Right.
any credibility for them to invest in us, and so that they get the right output.
Right.
But innovation is also equally important because when it comes to marketing, you can't
Yeah.
just go with simple marketing, just post your products, that's it,
Right.
that's done. You have to play around to interest the viewers.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say at times you should let go of the integrity and maybe trust the innovation, because
Right.
it how people say trust the process. So
Right.
if your client is investing in you, I am sure that they're investing in you because they have that trust. You've gained that trust
Right.
while the first pitching, getting to know them,
Of course. Yeah.
seeing our designs for them. So I'm sure that trust is already built. And if you start showing the innovation, start, coming up with different things, like it it can help people out. Like
Right.
I know that we've done it, I have done it, and I have fought with the client and I've been like, listen, you need to trust our process. This is
Right.
actually going to work out. And when we just did it and it did work out is when the integrity comes in place, and they'll be like, sorry, we didn't trust you.
Yeah.
We put in the money. We should
Right.
just let you do it, like not be hands-on working with you guys. We should just be
Right.
there for approval. So I would say yes, both of them are important, but I would first say yes, you need to gain that trust. You need to, gain that confidence with them,
Right.
and that's when innovation can take place.
Oh, that's an amazing insight into it. Tell us more about women that inspire you. Could be everyday women like your mom, your sister, somebody else in your life,
So
or
I
somebody
would
that you look
say,
up to.
I would say, since day one, I mean, ever since, I was 15, I had some brain cells that were working and, in the right direction. I
Right.
would say that the first woman, like, the only woman I saw in front of my eyes who inspired me the most was my sister.
Right.
Uh, so like in our family everyone's done something else, but then when it comes to choosing the field, it's literally the opposite.
Okay.
So she was studying psychology.
Mm-hmm.
Then she her teachers used to teach her in a different language that she didn't understand,
Oh.
so she just dropped out because she couldn't understand anything.
Right.
And then she went into the engineer background after that, and she completed her BCA, and now
Mm-hmm.
she's working with my father, but she's working in the US
Right.
handling the branch over there.
Wow.
But with Sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah. Please go ahead.
Yeah, so she's handling the branch in USA, but way before that, when she was working in India for him, she used to teach dance also.
Oh,
So, she used to not care if her meals are on time, or, she's spending enough family time, or,
right.
having a good social life. She made sure that everything she does, she's the one who's happy. She does not need to please
Yeah.
anybody else over here.
Wow.
So that's one thing that always inspired me, that, she always had this one quote, which was never say tired, that no matter she's doing a 9 to 6 job, after that coming taking dance classes from 7 to 11, then
Wow.
again signing in for working with the US clients, she like never complained about it. She was always she made sure her work is on time, her dance is going good, and
Yeah.
she's also spending, like, she made sure she's even taking time for her family, for her friends, which inspired me because we both are, we both are the same. We will do whatever makes us happy, makes us feel relieved, and gets us sleep at night.
Right.
So that's what always she always inspired me, that obviously your first source of income has to be something legitimate, like you need to work
Right.
somewhere, and have obviously just don't work for your income. You need to make sure that's keeping you happy, it's not stressing you out every day,
Mm-hmm.
and you're living life with it. But with that, also do something that you have a passion for. Don't forget your passion because
Right.
of your work life. Make sure that
Okay.
you balance out your passion and your work. So she was like the woman who inspired me the most. And if you want to talk about celebrities, I would say there's an influencer called Masoom Meenawala. I don't know if a lot of
Okay.
people have heard about them, but she was from India. She was from Bombay, and she just started, posting different photos on Instagram with different outfits.
Okay.
And those outfits were basically Indian related outfits. Like, when you
Okay.
talk about bandhani, you talk about chicken material, all of that.
Okay.
And she's basically trying to talk about the Indian tradition. And she's also talking about the Western tradition, and, like designing herself in different ways.
Wow.
So, ever since then, I have been following her, and today, when I see her, she has a huge following base now on Instagram. She was even, she just got a baby, like for the last 9 months when she was pregnant.
Okay.
She still went for the Paris Fashion Week. She made sure she showed
Wow.
herself over there. She didn't stop working, like, how people have these pregnant maternity leaves before your
Yeah.
pregnancy, and then, she didn't do any sort of that thing. Like, she was still working, and she looked flawless even with that baby bump. And that's what, like, it was every time I would see her, and I'm like, oh my God, how is that possible?
Yeah.
And she even started her own movement for women entrepreneurs, and people who want to, like, the people from the Indian villages who are not
Mhm.
very educated, but
Right.
they have some passion in them. So she even started a movement for that. So
That's quite
it's,
admirable.
yeah, so that's something I really look for. Like, that content, it's not fake content, it's actual real
Right.
content. You can see that, how she is in that.
Right.
And that's what I really like about her.
That's admirable. Even with what you said about your sister, that the first priority is making yourself happy, and I think it takes
Yeah.
guts to do that, because you always have been taught, especially here in India, to make your parents, your elders, your brother, sister, to live for somebody else, to make them happy, adjust a little bit so that the
Yeah.
other person is always happy, or in their comfort zone. But I think it takes guts to realize that your priority has to be yourself, and then once you are happy, automatically you will also start
Yeah.
making people around you happy as well.
Others happy. Yes.
Yeah, so I think that's very inspiring. That's something I've started to realize very recently. But I hope to stick with the plan. It's amazing that she's done that for so many years and at quite a young age. Uh, I'm
Yes.
sure you meet a lot of women who are in the business world. You yourself are one. What do you think is your biggest challenge as a woman in the business world? I'm sure every entrepreneur has their own challenges, but I also believe that women have to go through that one extra layer of challenges or social stigma or something. So, what can you tell us about that?
Um, Honestly, in the past 3 years of me working,
Right.
uh, I honestly have not faced a challenge. I mean, it's
Okay.
been easier because for me compared to Himanshu, because
Right.
whenever it's been talking to our printing vendor or talking
Yeah.
to, anybody like just to get your work done,
Right.
it's easier for me to get my things done maybe because I have that tone of speaking where,
Mm-hmm.
in Hindi how they say, भैया ये कर दो ना, please हो जाएगा. Like, that sweet tone, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
just that
yeah.
they just met. And even when it comes to clients, I feel I've always, when it comes to clients and employees,
Right.
I feel like I'm more of a team player than being an individual person.
Okay.
So, I make sure that, they are happy, but I make
Right.
sure my work is getting done. But nobody
Right.
should feel bad. So if you say as a challenge, I don't think so I've faced any. But the only challenge I might have faced personally would be, uh, I would say lack of knowledge because,
Okay.
not as I said that I've not really hands-on studied this
Right.
whole field. So whatever I knew, I've actually learned more through working with clients, through
Mm-hmm.
working with my team. So
Right.
today, if like uh and through courses, but obviously when
Yeah.
you get hands-on experience, when it's more practical,
That's
you learn more things. So
of
maybe
course.
one of
Yeah.
the few challenges that I might have faced is, when talking to some higher level managers from other companies and
Right.
trying to pitch to them. I've always needed Himanshu maybe to back
Mm-hmm.
me up when
Right.
when I'm going to pitch, just for him to help me out a little bit where so that they don't overpower me. That's
Right.
maybe the only challenge, but obviously with time and effort and a lot more learning, I did
Yeah.
overcome that, and hence I'm even doing a master's over here. But I wouldn't. I mean, yes, there were. In India, people said that women entrepreneurs are very less, and
Mm-hmm.
a lot of women do not. There was never. I wouldn't say there was a decline or an incline in the number.
Yeah.
It was stagnant for a while, but
Right.
I feel, now even with whatever that's happening back at home, I wouldn't say like I would say that COVID has helped so many women start their own business, be it home
Right.
bakery or be it, starting the smallest a small thing. But,
Mm-hmm.
the thing that they are confident enough that, they can deal with it, they can handle
Right.
it, and they can make enough money. And I feel that's what inspires me, that every woman today has a business mind and they know what they're doing and they're not
Right.
scared of falling down. They'll just get up and start something else. But
Yeah.
I know that everyone's keen on doing something, either even if it's working for somebody else. But I'm
Right.
happy that people are doing something and women are doing something and they're not just sitting in the kitchen and
Yeah.
doing the regular thing.
All right. Let's bring it to the end. What's the greatest single piece of advice you have received in your entrepreneurial journey?
Uh, the best advice. There, there's been many, but one would be that, don't worry about failing. There's always a risk factor that's involved.
Right.
Um, Me as a person, I hate taking risks. Like, I do not like taking risks. I'm a person who is, I'd like to be, if I've been given a time that, we are
Yeah.
doing this at so and so time, I get anxiety if it's not done on that time.
Yeah. Okay.
Like I start getting irritated. I'm just pissed off and like, just get angry.
Yeah. Okay.
And when something does not fall according to the plan,
Yeah.
it's 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 very irritating for me. So that was like, even when we started, and the only thing I used to tell Himanshu is like, what if this does not happen? What if this doesn't
Okay.
work out? What do we
Yeah.
do? And I always had this, this thing in my head that I don't want to fail over here. Like,
Right.
if I've started this and today everybody at least in Pune, people know that, Lubdhi had a company and, she's doing good. And I
Yeah.
always had this scare in my head that what if I fail? Will people make fun of me, or
Yeah.
will they support me and help me grow? So that's an I got an advice that, it is okay to fail. You will
Mm-hmm.
have to, there are always risks involved if you want to become an entrepreneur. Things are not always going to go in a
Right.
straight way. They're always going to be crooked. You're going to see a lot of downfall, but you
Right.
need to believe in yourself that, you can pull yourself up from it and make sure that whatever risk or whatever failure that you've had, you can, go through it. And the second thing with it is that, you have, like, now we're a team of 30. So I
Yeah.
have 30 people who are like, I've taken their responsibility and they're believing in me.
Right.
So if ever there's a failure and I just give up, that means I'm giving up on them and they're stranded. So maybe like now I've started taking more risks when it comes to hiring people, like, not
Mm-hmm.
worry that, I used to always worry that, oh no, maybe that's, an expensive hire. Maybe let's go for
Right.
a less, someone who's asking for less money. Maybe he can help us out. But now I'm ready to take a risk that no, let's just go with him. He has more experience. He's going to bring more to the table. So, let's go ahead with this. And if it's not working out, it's fine. You can just ask him. You can just tell him very nicely that nahi, boss nahi ho raha hai. And maybe you can start finding somebody else after that. So
Yeah.
I would say that the one thing that I have learned in 3 years is taking risks and being able, like, dealing with it.
That's great. I always say higher the risk, higher the reward. I believe and I practice. I preach it or I practice that. And like you said,
Yeah.
ki every entrepreneur goes through this phase where they're afraid of taking risks, but they realize that unless and until they take that leap of faith and take risks, no matter how big or small, I mean that's the journey. You just have to get used to taking the risk, and you just have to start being okay with living in that sweet spot of anxiety, I call it.
Yeah.
After you've taken the risk, you just start accepting it. Ki, okay, this is where I am, and this is going to happen often and often, more times than not. Ki, you take a risk and you're waiting for to see how it turns out, and you just have to accept that. It's just, but I've started to be happy or at least accept that, and I have started feeling okay with that. So I guess we
Yeah.
are on the right track.
Yeah, it's now a sweet spot. Before it was just scary. Like, it's just like, oh my
I
God, what is
can I can
happening?
imagine.
Yeah.
All right, that brings us to the end of this round. Let's move on to our
Okay.
next round, which is the rapid fire questions.
Yeah.
All right, ready?
Yep.
All right. What's your favorite leisure activity?
Dance. Hands down.
I've seen you dance. You do it really well. All
Thank
right.
you.
If you could go on a business trip anywhere in the world, where would you choose?
I would say USA. I
Okay.
mean, I just, I have a sweet spot over there. It's just that uh, people are welcoming to startups, and,
Yeah.
they give you a chance to at least pitch yourself,
Right.
and they do not have a problem to, try it out.
Yeah. I mean,
They also work for, the risk factor that I was talking about. I feel that they also take risks with other people and get
Mm-hmm.
the job, even if it's, and I feel that's where I would go to. Yeah.
All right. Okay. What's your favorite movie that has inspired you in some way?
My favorite movie, um, I guess Aare Zameen Par. It just opened my eyes in a way. I don't know. That was the first thing that came
No,
to my head.
I agree. It's still one of my best, like one
Yeah,
of the best movies I've seen. I agree with you. Uh, okay. What's your favorite cuisine? What do you like to eat?
sushi. And I really miss it. Like, you don't get vegetarian sushi over here, so the first thing that I'm gonna come to India and eat is sushi.
Wow, how weird is it to hear that you have to come back to India to eat sushi and you're in England? All right.
Funny.
Can you share the most challenging project that you've worked on at KU?
Most challenging project. I would say the most challenging project would be the first project we worked on. It
Okay.
it involved different units of KU that had to be worked on. We had to do a website.
Mm-hmm.
We had to come up with their sales deck, make a logo for them, make their brand guidelines, and uh, that was one of the most. That was the first project we as a team were working on, and that time we
Right.
were just three of us.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we had a deadline of 48 hours to do all of this. So it was definitely challenging. And it was challenging not just because of the client, but because it was a trial and error for Himanshu and me that if if we're able to do this is when KU is actually going to start. Otherwise,
Right.
we bring it to an end.
Oh,
So
wow.
I would say that first project was the challenging one.
Okay. All right. Let's move on. Do you have any pets? Do you feel that it helps you
I
relax when you get back home?
I do not have any pet, but I've always been fond of a dog. So,
Okay.
every time I meet any pet dog or something, just, it feels good. Like it reduces stress, just playing with them.
What's your preferred genre of music?
Also
While
commercial.
working and after you're done working.
I would say commercial and hip hop during
Okay.
both.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it just
All
gives me
right.
a dance vibe, so I can work better, and then after that, I can start dancing.
Just on the same music. I get it.
Yeah.
I think we've already done this question, but even then, I'm gonna ask you this. Meeting with any influencer in the world.
Yeah, like as I answered it with,
Yeah.
I could have a meeting with my sister anytime, but it would be Masoom Meenawala. It
All
hands
right.
down. Yeah.
All right. I think that brings us to the end. Thank you again so much for doing this and agreeing to be part of this campaign. And I realized that it was a little hectic for you, and you took out the time to do this. So we really appreciate this. And let's hope that looking at this, seeing this video of yours, there are women out there who will be inspired and start something of their own. Maybe even come to you for advice. So I just want to say thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you so much for having me on board. And to everybody who's going to see this, do reach out to Digvijay if you all are ever, if you all ever have a problem in your company or if you want to start a company. Trust me, he's amazing. And, if you can ask me, KU has changed immensely in the 1 year that we've worked with him. So kudos to you and congratulations for all the milestones. And thank you for working with KU.
Thank you so much for this. Thank you.
Thank you.